Greetings everybody, Sive here with ForexPeaceArmy.com. Let's take a look again on the gold market. So yes, it's a lot of noise right now stands around this market. Investors really inspiring and actually exciting about all this stuff, and everybody is gambling about what the reason was for a drop. Well, some reasons we probably even can't know because we have no ability to check the information on the big players on the market, what they do with their positions and so on. But I suspect that it might be a bulk of the different events that just coincide in most bad time moment. So overhype on the market, when you see the market is coming vertically, it always means that you should not be surprised if you will see that the market is going down also vertically. It's just a low when you have the hyperbolic performance. Be prepared for a sharp drop. So we've got the Friday lots of additional events that are not widely discussed by the market participants. Everybody starts watching for some conspiracy theories, some manipulations of the big banks. It's also might be the reason, and we discussed this background in today's report. But I think that it might start just from the small thing. We've got the PPI numbers that has shown really big inflation. It might impact on the very short-term traders who trade on intraday charts. Some stops can be triggered. Second, we've got some drain out of liquidity from the United States Treasury on Friday because they're accumulating funds for payments. That usually happens in the beginning of the next month, which is February, and that also could provoke actually some position closing and so on. And of course, we can't exclude some speculations and manipulations of the big players on the market. Another story in China. This whole protest there started for those people who have invested and can't get the money back on this collapse. Some Chinese are always were really very passionate gamblers, whatever market we're talking about. Previously it was stock market, right now it's the precious metals, and that leads to the poor results. But this actually is not very important to us. This time we have dedicated the report, weekly report, to the changing of our long-term strategy. So last time we have changed it 2 years ago when we have made a decision on investment in the gold, and currently the moment has come to discuss what we expect should happen next. What is the cornerstone of our new vision on the gold market, what we will be watching for, and why it is important. And actually, guys, we have no right to fail with the next chance for entry, because if we will enter too early, we could stuck in the market for a long time. I suppose that the new possible upward performance might become the last one in the decades. Then the gold market should come down and turn to some sideways action. But these things that I'm talking about will be last for years. So approximately all the stuff that I just talked about probably will take around 3-4 years maybe. But the decision making should come relatively earlier, and in 2026 probably will be the moment. So that's why in today's report I have prepared the update on the long-term view. Speaking about short-term situation, despite that we've got a really big collapse, even slightly bigger than we thought. So we remember on Friday morning we said take a look. Collapse already is very impressive. We've got, if you remember, this kind of the evening star pattern here on the top, but we said be prepared for more because it seems that market is ready to go lower. And with this downside performance, we've got not only the OP target that we discussed, not only the 1618 extension of this butterfly, but we even have got almost the XOP. Now, what we're gonna do in the beginning of the week. So here is actually two different background exists. Some traders think that it was the just closing of some last positions among the big houses, so they accumulated some shorts and they were needed some drop to close these positions. They have made it. If this is the real story, then the pullback to the upside should happen relatively fast. We should not stuck in some deeper retracement, and the pressure on the market should stop. So that's the sentiment, what we will be watching for. From the technical point of view and practical point of view, The one thing that we need to keep an eye on, actually, the appearing of the bullish patterns in this area. Because if you take a look at the support, this is not only the 47.80, this is confidence support on the weekly chart. As you can see, 47.06, 47.80. So market stands at this confidence is rather strong. It's also oversold on the daily, and you can see that it's very close to the MACD lines. So second thing that we need to keep an eye on is the appearing of the grabbers on the daily chart on Monday and Tuesday. If we will get the grabber here around the confluence, that might be the starting point of the momentum trade that we are planning. So the plan is as follows: watching for a daily. If we get the grabbers, this is the first point. Drop your time frame to the hourly, watching for a clear bullish patterns around it. What this might be, for example, got this triple to buy or something like this. Maybe some other patterns will be formed. We will see. But that's what we will keep an eye on in the beginning of the week. Once we will get necessary context for a possible taking long position, we could try to do this. So that's the common thing that's probably we will be watching for on the gold and euros time. In longer term perspective, potentially a lot of patterns might be formed, as on the weekly, as on the monthly chart. But currently it's not as important because we do not know when this will happen. It might take a few weeks before something will be formed. Well, the potential target of this pullback, if it will start, might be somewhere around 618 resistance on the whole downside action. It will be somewhere around 53, maybe 52, 50, 53, somewhere in this area. It's probably will be the target if we're correct, minimum target. So that's probably all for now. Let's see what will happen. And performance on the gold market finally is becoming more interesting because we are getting swings not only to the upside but some deep retracements, and it's also generate a lot of opportunities on the intraday charts as well.